We're here at Vivint Smart Home Arena. Yes, that is the name of the Utah Jazz's arena. And the Thunder came away tonight with a win on the second night of a back-to-back. Final score 94-90. And what it came down to at the end was Kevin Durant really turning it on in the fourth quarter. He came into the quarter 4 of 10 shooting, 0 of 5 from 3. And he ended up scoring the final 11 points of the game for the Thunder. From the 4:19 point on, he scored all 11 of his points in the fourth quarter, finished with 21, so he scored half of his points in the final stretch of the game. And it really lifted the Thunder out of a bad spot, considering that Utah was really pushing to take the lead. Trevor Booker came in with a big putback dunk that completed a 15-4 run in the fourth quarter, where the Thunder's offense kind of stagnated. And then Booker hit a free throw to tie the game at 87, and that's when Durant just went on a string of just hitting some really big-time jump shots. He hit a 3 from the top of the arc at 87-87 to push the game to a 3-point lead. And then he came back down again and hit a mid-range J. And that's when basically the crowd cleared out, when he became a 5-point game. Russell Westbrook had a strong first half. He had 18 points at halftime. He finished with 24. Then he had 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Serge Ibaka really struggled, considering he was coming off of a big game Thursday night against the Hawks. He started 1 of 8 from the field. He had a couple of turnovers, but he made some big shots in the fourth quarter before the offense dried up. A lot of key contributions off of the bench tonight. There were some times where there were some defensive lapses, and some times where you could see that fatigue setting in on the third game in 4 days, but the Thunder really kind of clamped down defensively in that fourth quarter stretch at the end, where Durant started getting his points, and they came down with some key rebounds. Russell Westbrook had a key offensive rebound. DJ Augustine at one point, he boxed out Derek Favors to get a tip to Kerr for a rebound. It was really, to be cliche, a gritty win for the Thunder, the second win in a row that they closed out a team in the fourth quarter. And if you're the Thunder, you got to be happy with the way that they've closed out this week, considering they beat 3 pretty high caliber teams in a row in the Grizzlies, the Atlanta Hawks at home, and went on the road on the second night of a back-to-back and beat the Utah Jazz. The Thunder will get the Jazz again on Sunday night, one of those strange back-to-back games against back-to-back team scenarios, but they got the hardest part out of the way. They'll go home on Saturday and get a day's rest, and then come back to Chesapeake Energy Arena on Sunday and face the Jazz again, who it must be stated were without their leading shot blocker and starting center Rudy Gobert, but still managed to go on a great run in the fourth quarter behind Alec Burks, Trey Burke, and some really spirited play from Trevor Booker in the paint. But tonight it was about Durant. He just took the game over in that fourth quarter stretch and hit the biggest shots of the game at the highest degree of difficulty, and ended up closing out the game on a day where he wasn't his efficient best to start. The Thunder improve now to 15-8. That's their 4th consecutive win, which ties their longest winning streak of the season. But this winning streak is probably more impressive because it came against some teams that are really going to be some playoff contenders in the Jazz and the Hawks and the Grizzlies. Kevin Durant and Billy Donovan spoke post-game, and let's send it to them and see what they had to say. Kevin, you started off the game, you struggled a little bit from the field going into that fourth quarter, but at the end of the game, it seemed like you really took it into your own hands. I mean, was that something that you knew you had to do going into the fourth quarter?
I wouldn't say I was struggling shooting the ball. I felt like I was right in range of, that fine line between, going off and hitting 3 or 4 in a row, or missing 3 or 4 in a row. So I didn't feel like I was in a little slump. I just felt like, if I hit one shot, I feel like I'm hot, and I was able to make one. It was a crazy off-balance shot, but once I see it go through the rim, I'm like, all right, let's go. It's time to get it going. And they made a run. They were at home. We fed off the energy of the crowd, and I just try to do what I do best, man. Is just be aggressive and make shots. And my teammates fed me, man. They trusted in me. I heard all night from the bench, would stay with it, and that's what I did.
Kevin, I talked to you on the court about those final few minutes, but how big was it the start that you guys got tonight? I mean, the energy early was great.
Well, man, if we wouldn't have had, been up by 12 points in the first quarter, we lose this game. So, we started off well, and that's what we need. We just had, like I said, we were on the road. They fed off their crowd. They had some momentum changing plays, and they got back in the game. We knew it was going to be a tough one, but I just like the way we stuck with it. Late game, we didn't panic. We made the right plays.
Do people underestimate how difficult it is to keep that focus and that attention to detail in the second game of a back-to-back?
Yeah, but the great teams do it. All teams do it. You see all the good teams in the league, from Golden States to San Antonio's to Toronto's to Cleveland's. They come through on the back-to-backs. They don't worry about the previous night, and they just try to focus on the game and get the win, because we know how important that is. That shows everybody who you are on the second night of a back-to-back. And that's what I told the guys before the game, is like, this is a good test for us to see who we are. And Coach always preaches we want to be good on back-to-backs, and we was able to come out, start great, weather the storm, and get a good W.
You guys have matched a season high with 4 straight wins. What's clicking for you all right now at this point?
I think we're playing the right brand of basketball. Tonight we didn't make shots, off the initial pass, but we just kept being aggressive. Serge got a lot of wide open shots he normally makes, and they didn't fall tonight. I got some shots. We were aggressive going to the rim. Defensively, I thought we did a good job early on, and we had a tough little stretch there in the third. But for the most part, we got stops. So when you put both ends together like that, you come out with a good outcome. So we got to continue to do that. It's going to be nice when we struggle offensively, but defensively we have to be there.
Dion in the first half, Ennis in the second, Amo with a big 3. Seemed like your second unit kind of sustained you during the stretches. What'd you see?
Yeah, they did a great job of just keeping the lead forwards, playing hard. Dion was good at being aggressive. Ennis came out and didn't worry about the crowd and played his game. DJ was good. Amo hit a big shot for us. Nick was really good. So we depend on our bench, and they come through for us.
Kevin, did Utah do anything different the second time around to make it tough for any guys tonight than the first time?
They were physical. I think without Gobert, they run a little bit more, play quicker, shoot a lot of threes. But I think we did a good job of covering up everything. And Favors is a low down there, but I think our bigs did a good job with him. They just tried to spread us out, but we stuck to our principles and was able to get a good W. So I'm sure they're going to make adjustments. We play them again on Sunday, so we got to be ready for it.
They hit you with that 16-4 run, but you weathered the storm. From a mental standpoint, how are you guys able to do that?
Well, I think that the one thing about the group is they're highly competitive. We got hurt, I thought, on the offensive glass there during that run. They missed some shots, and they got it back, and they scored. And then, obviously, I thought we struggled to put the ball in the basket at times, but I thought we had some fairly decent looks at the rim and some mid-range shots. But I thought our guys really battled, and really we came up with a lot of plays. I thought closing the game out, there was a couple offensive rebounds that were critical. Russell came down with 1, DM came down with 1, and then obviously Kevin making 2 free throws and a big 3 and then a pull-up jump shot late. So it was one of those things where you're playing a back-to-back and you're coming in on the road against a good team, and you're going to have to dig a little bit deeper, because I thought we played pretty well in the first half, and at times we were good in the second half, but I thought at times we looked a little drained too.
To follow up on Kevin, you didn't really get it going for most of the second half. Last 4 minutes, he has your final 11 points. Just how special is this guy?
Well, he's great just because he works. It's a great parallel to me. For any player, is the amount of time that he puts into the game. Every shot he takes is a game shot all the time. And it's not by mistake that he's successful as he is, because he really invests time in what he's doing all the time. So, obviously it was a great move on Booker. He created some space for himself and got off a clean look. And I thought he made a couple shots over Hayward that were tough, and Hayward I thought defended him pretty well. But I thought Kevin was also a pretty willing passer, because he got guys the ball in different areas of the floor as well. So I thought maybe early in the game, the first 3 quarters, he wasn't maybe as dominant offensively as he has been, but certainly to close out, he was special.
2 more days, and then you got these guys again. What are some takeaways that you want to carry over to Sunday?
Well, I think the first thing is we got to do a better job of rebounding. I thought Burke in the second half played really well. I think he had 2 points in the first half, and he came back with 14 or 16 in the second. So, containing him will be important. I thought we gave up entirely too many 3-point shots. I think they got off 28 for the game. And some of them were clean looks that just didn't go down. We were fortunate on some. But I felt like on a quick turnaround, dealing probably with some fatigue, tired legs, I thought our guys battled and found a way.
When you talk about that fatigue, is it hard to maintain that level of concentration, that detail when you're going into the second night of a back-to-back?
No question. That was I think the stress, the points trying to stress to them is that we got to keep our focus, we got to keep our concentration. And I think here get the altitude a little bit. You're dealing with that, and these guys are getting winded. You're trying to get them out, but you're not trying to break rhythm. I tried to sub a little bit more freely there in that second half. But no question, I think that's the first thing that happens is when you get a little bit tired, your concentration, your focus, and attention to detail starts to go. But I give our guys credit because they kept battling and trying to fight through it as best they could.